South Africa, we just witnessed history in the making. Julius Malema has been convicted. He's guilty on all charges in the firearm case. And no, I'm not lying to you. But here's the burning question in everyone's mind right now. Does this mean he goes out of parliament? Does the EFF's commander-in-chief give up his seat at the National Assembly? That's why I'm here to break this down for you, because this is actually critical, and there's already going to be so much noise, so much misinformation, so much spin, so much people pulling information out of their asses. You deserve the facts. So let's start. The constitutional reality, section 47. Here's what the South African Constitution says, and this is the only thing that matters when it comes to parliamentary eligibility. According to section 47, 1E of our Constitution, if I'm not mistaken, an MP is disqualified from the National Assembly if they are convicted of an offense and sentenced to more than 12 months imprisonment without the option of a fine. Listen to that again. More than 12 months. That's line in the sand. That's the line in the sand. That's the deal breaker. Now, Malema has been found guilty today. That's confirmed. But here's the crucial part. He hasn't been sentenced yet. So we still have to hear the sentencing. The conviction happened today, but sentencing is still to come. And that's where the rubber meets the road. Because, like I said in my live stream earlier, the sentencing phase is going to be a little more complicated because this is the actual part where it counts. Malema faces up to 15 years in prison for these firearm violations. 15 years. That's the maximum. But let's be real. Maximum sentences are rarely handed down unless there are some very serious aggravating factors. And by that I mean very, very serious. So here are the possible scenarios. Scenario number 1. He gets more than 12 months. Equals goodbye parliament. If Magistrate Olivier sentences Malema to more than 12 months imprisonment without the option of a fine, then the guy is out. Automatically disqualified like this. His parliamentary seat is gone. The Constitution is crystal clear on this. There is literally no wiggle room, no special expectations, no I'm a party leader conclusion, no. And that disqualification, it doesn't just last while he serves time. Under section 47, the disqualification continues for 5 years under the sentence that has been completed. So let's say if he gets 3 years and serves it, he can't come back to parliament for another 5 years after he's released. You get what I mean? That is nothing but political exile. Scenario number 2 is exactly 12 months or less, which means he stays. But, and this is crucial, if the sentence is 12 months or less, even if it's imprisonment, he keeps his seat. The Constitution says more than 12 months. So 12 months exactly, he stays. 11 months, he stays. 6 months, he stays. 1 day, he stays. I think you get the idea. Scenario number 3, suspended sentence. He stays for now because there's also a possibility of a wholly or partially suspended sentence. If the magistrate says, I'll sentence you to an X amount of years, suspend you for Y amount of years, that is not considered sentenced to imprisonment in the constitutional sense. At least not until he violates those conditions, and then that sentence of imprisonment will be activated. You get what I mean? Scenario number 4 will be he's given like some strange fine or some lame-ass community service. That would be shocking because the sentence is just a fine or community service with no imprisonment whatsoever for waving a gun around, and he stays in parliament. So what's likely to happen? Let thee tell you about this. Let me be honest about what we're probably looking at here. This is a firearms case involving unlawful possession of a firearm and ammunition. Discharging a firearm in a built-up area, a stadium full of people, and reckless endangerment. These are very serious charges. People go to prison for less. But, and you need to hear this hard truth, Malema has connections. He has top-tier legal representation. He's a first-time offender on these particular charges, as far as we know. Wink, wink. And South African courts do consider factors like that. My prediction, the prosecution is going to push for serious time. They will push, probably arguing for years behind bars, given the public safety risk and the caliber attitude displayed. But the defense will argue for leniency, probably pushing for just a suspended sentence or something at or below that 12-month threshold. You get what I mean? So where will the magistrate land? That is the multi-million rand question only Jeremy Wade can answer. Because if that's the case, we need to talk about the appeals process because it isn't over. There's something else we need to understand. Even if the man is sentenced to more than 12 months, Malema will appeal. Count on it. Bet your house on it. You know he's going to appeal. And here's where it gets complicated. Does he lose his seat immediately upon sentencing, or does he keep pending the appeal? Well, the Constitutional Court dealt with this exact question in the Jacob Zuma case earlier this year. The principle is that if someone is convicted and sentenced to more than 12 months, and they have no right to appeal, like Zuma's contempt case, which came directly from the Constitutional Court, they are immediately disqualified from their parliamentary seat. But in a normal case, like Malema, where there is a right to appeal, there's some legal ambiguity there. He could potentially argue that he should keep his seat while the appeal is pending because the sentence isn't yet final. You get that argument. He could bring that up. Actually, he will. Expect massive legal battles over that. Expect it to go all the way to higher courts even. Expect years of litigation once again if the sentence crosses that 12-month threshold. I'm not even lying to you. But why does this matter so much? Why does Dee talk about this so much? Listen, this isn't just about one man's parliamentary seat. This is about whether our law means anything. This is about whether the same rules apply to anyone, to everyone actually, or whether political power still buys you special treatment. Is the game rigged or not? Is life truly equal for South Africans? If Malema gets sentenced to significant time and doesn't lose his seat through legal maneuvering, that sends a message to every single South African. It tells us that, you see, the rules are different from them, because if it was you, your ass would have been in that cell a long time ago, homie. You get what I mean? But if the right thing happens, that will tell us a different story. That will say no matter who you are, where you come from, no matter how many supporters you have, no matter what political party you lead, the law applies to you. Thank you. That's the South Africa we're supposed to be building. But now, here's the big question. How many years do you think he's going to get in prison? Well, tell me what you think. This is the Summer Sambit, and like always, I'll see you next time. I know I'm dressed nice, eh? Don't ask me where I'm going, eh? Mind your own business.